Penguins versus Islanders.
Yes.
And this is a series we've seen in the past.
Yeah, wars.
And it hasn't been pretty for Penguins fans.
Yeah.
Facing Barry Trotz and this hard-nosed, defensive-minded Islanders team. But Lepore, what is your take on this series in the East Division?
Penguins and Isles. Another one, man. It's a great year for matchups as a neutral. I know people say that every year, but no, there's a lot of series where like these teams hate each other, or you just know they're going to hate each other really quickly. And this series is exactly that. You have two good goalies. You have Yuri and Varlamov. You have an Islanders team where we know their identity. We know Barry Trotz is going to play a certain way. They're going to try to shut you down. And then the series becomes intriguing because you have a guy named Sidney Crosby on the other end who they will try to shut down. But the Islanders are one of those teams. Like, they're a likable team. Like, you go through their lineup, like Barzal, Bailey, Eberle, Nelson, Lee. They picked up Palmieri and Zajac at the deadline. I'd like to see their record since that deal, because that was kind of like the deal of the deadline, like before the Hall and the Foligno deals took place. And it didn't seem like it was that hot, like since they made that deal. But the Islanders are going to be a bitch to play against. And I think Pittsburgh knows that. On the other side, Pittsburgh kind of changed their identity this year. Like, I know a lot of the advanced stats guys I follow say that Pittsburgh was an incredible defensive team. And we kind of have this vision of the Penguins as like Crosby and Malkin, high flying, deep team. But that's not really what they were this year. Like, people were saying this team is a unit more than they've ever been, playing a 200-foot game and playing hockey the right way. And there's still questions as to regard to whether Malkin is returning. I was reading yesterday, it was like up in the air. Some people were saying he was
up in the air for sure with Malkin.
Yeah, but man, one thing that totally fell under the radar this year, at least in my view anyway, Jake Ensel, he had 57 points, man.
He's a good player, man.
Quietly,
man. The last like 2-3 seasons has pretty much been like a point a game player.
Awesome year for him. So to make a prediction for this series, I have the talent and the system of the Pittsburgh Penguins being too much. I think a lot of people are probably going to go with the Islanders just to try to be cool and use their confirmation bias because they beat them last time, just out muscled them and out playoff hockeyed them. But I just think Sid is having too good of a year. I think he's going to be dialed in. If they get that addition of Malkin, which they should, that would be huge. Yari's a good goalie. So Penguins in 6 is how I have it.
And I have literally the exact same prediction. I have Penguins in 6 as well. And when I look at this Penguins team, first of all, they're one of the hottest teams in the NHL the last like 15 games of the season. I believe they finished the year 10-3-1 over their last 14 games, that is. And I just look at the depth up front. Getting Jeff Carter at the trade deadline.
I didn't even mention Jeff Carter. Yeah, sorry.
Like Jeff Carter. And listen, like Jeff Carter is not the guy he used to be. Like, we all know that, but he's been really good with Pittsburgh. I mean, he's scoring a ton of goals. He's been over a point a game player with them. And I just look at the offensive depth of that team. And I look at them, especially with Malkin in the lineup, their talent down the middle. I think it's just going to be too much for the Islanders to overcome. Now, here's the thing. Like, I don't like Pittsburgh's blue line. Like, I think they have some issues on the back end. And Chris Letang is a phenomenal player. But, I mean, this is going to bring up a lot of scars for Leaf fans. But when you have Cody Ceci and you're rolling him out there, 18 to 20 minutes a game, like that's just not, it's not ideal.
So we shouldn't listen to all the narratives saying he's having a good year.
Oh,
right?
my goodness. But yeah, I just look at like the talent on their blue line. Like, you look at like Brian Dumoulin, Michael Matheson, John Marino. Like, I mean, they're not a terrible,
they're fine, but that's about
it. They're fine, right? And I think a lot of the times with Pittsburgh, with all the talent that they have up front, they were one of the highest scoring teams in the league this year. If they can get like just solid goaltending, I think that they're going to break through in this series. And I know the Islanders swept them the last time they played. And I love Barry Trotz. I love the way the Islanders play. They're one of the best defensive teams in the league. But I think Pittsburgh, I think they get it done this time. So I'm right there with you, Lepore. I got the Pens in 6.
One thing I forgot to mention is I saw both teams have like 2 of the best home records in the league. Like, Pittsburgh's home record is bananas. They lost like 3 times. And the
Lepore, they're 22-4-2.
Yeah, and what's the season? And what's the Islanders isn't much worse either. So like something's got to give. It's really and
the Islanders, Lepore, 21-4-3 at home.
There you go. Crazy. Wow. Yeah, that's nuts. Like that good.
That's insane. Yeah, so they were both like just absolute juggernauts at home, and then on the road they were like both 500 teams essentially. The Islanders under 500 on the road. So
yeah, but as you said, good series, man. It's gonna be a good one.
That should be awesome.